Hello, everyone, again to another episode. Today, we're missing guest, Cathy from Canada. We have our second guest from Canada now. She's been doing a lot of stuff for the environment, for people. Humor, which is something that she's also doing. So let's hear it from her. Cathy, thank you for joining us today and taking the time.
Oh, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for the opportunity. So,
Thank
as you
you.
said, I'm located in Canada, and my working title is Cathy Crawly, Laughing Bean Queen. Simple solutions for today's challenges: worms for
Amazing.
indoor composting, sprouts for eating, and laughter for overall health and wellness. In a nutshell.
Amazing. Amazing, amazing. So, for people to know you a bit better, if you had to characterize Kathy, how would you characterize yourself?
I would say joyful, curious, and fun to be around. High energy.
Very good, very good. And how this all this journey started, actually?
My entrepreneur journey started back in kind of 93. I guess I bought my house. I moved out of Toronto. I'm from the largest city in Canada,
Okay.
and bought our house in 93. And I still had to travel to Toronto for work. So I would take the commuter train, have my bucket. I couldn't wait to compost and start gardening. Let me say that. So when I bought a house, I had a garden. And if you compost, the more you put in, the more you get out, the better your garden grows naturally. This had nothing to do with being an entrepreneur. I thought I was an employee for life. I was a secretary, and I was a great secretary.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So for 20 years, I was a secretary, and I thought I thought that's what I would do for my life. And then, things happen, and I became an entrepreneur.
Let's talk about this. How things actually happen. I mean, that was a big transition for you.
Yeah.
How did it came to you? What exactly happened to make you enlighten, go in this direction?
Yeah. So I guess to tie it in with the composting and the gardening, and I'm an avid learner. So I was getting my psych degree too. So I have a psych degree. Yeah, 20 years in the office. And then I got my graduated with my psychology degree. It takes me a long time to do things, apparently. It took me
Okay.
15 years. I only went at night. I didn't care about the paper. I just liked learning. So in 2000, I graduated, and I got a job at a group home working with challenged adults. So these are all very important kind of moments in my life. I had no idea that's what I would be doing, and I loved it. Oh my gosh, I loved working with that client. They were doubly blessed with kind of mental illness,
Right.
and oh, it was just beautiful for me. It was soul filling. It was just wonderful. But I couldn't work with management. Okay, just as a little aside. But what I noticed there, they had 10 homes and a farm, and they didn't compost. They were creating a lot of food waste.
Right.
And I see food waste everywhere. That is not waste for me. It's a resource. It's compost, right? It's future compost.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So I talked to them about composting, and, they said, we don't need the fertilizer because we have cows. I was like, it was the first time I realized people don't connect what they do. Here they are creating all this food waste and then paying all this money to throw it away wherever away is. And they had a farm, so why not use it on site? Anyway, I introduced them to worm composting, and then I came home that day and started to do research on worm composting.
Yeah.
And learned the magic of these beautiful worms. The red wiggler worms are the optimum composting worm. And they're meant to be indoors. There's thousands. Okay, so ask me a question because I'm rambling on.
No, no, no. It's fine. Well, let's continue. Well, let's go through it as it was. Yeah.
Yeah, so I as I was researching, I learned about these red wigglers. They eat half their weight per day in food scraps. They turn garbage into gold, black gold. Their poop is nutrient-rich fertilizer that we just put back on the plants, like in our
Right.
little gardens, and grow more nutrient-rich food. In North America, we've destroyed the soil with monocropping, right? Corn, wheat, soy. That's not how nature intended it, folks.
Yeah.
So we need to apply a lot of chemicals. So this is a way for us to return, at least in our own gardens. I'm not saying that, this could be done overnight and replace conventional farming. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that we can at home be in charge of what we put on our soil, and it matters.
So, and from this, you started this journey as your company promoting this compost, and you being showing to other companies and people what are the benefits actually for the environment and everything else, right? To achieve all this, obviously, there's a lot of work on the background. Can you tell us a bit about all the work you've done doing this?
Yes, it is the 23rd anniversary. So hooray, I made it. Just
Hooray! Yeah,
right. Just so people know, like the beginning was not, you see people on stage and they're like, oh yeah, easy for you. They
no,
started somewhere and I started somewhere. And
of
I
course.
really was an accidental entrepreneur. I was an employee. So then I worked at the group home, still an employee. Then I got injured at work, and I came home from work. I was very stressed. I was like, oh gosh, how can I go back there? I'm ineffective. All these thoughts in my head. I came home. There was an ad in the paper and it said, are you a woman? Do you have a business idea? It was a 6-month course to write a business plan. What? So I was like, oh my gosh, what if I could have a worm business? So I turned to my husband. I said,
Right.
I'm quitting my job. I'm taking this course. I'm going to start a worm business. How fun. That was really how it began. And so I took
Yeah.
that course. Cathy's Crawly Composters was born there. I was all revved up. Yay. Okay. I'm going to solve the world's problems. Okay. And that's what entrepreneurs do. That's the important piece.
Yeah.
That's the juice, folks. If you're listening and you're like, I want to be an entrepreneur, then find something that builds you up, that you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to bring this to the world
Yeah, I
because
mean,
they need it.
for people who don't know, entrepreneurs actually usually solve over 90% of the world's problems. They just can't, they don't have the enough attention most of the times, neither from public or by the solution they're presenting. But it's really important. It's just a matter
90%
that
no.
people should care more when someone is talking about something that, you know, just hear it first and then see that it can be actually very beneficial. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, exactly. It's a simple solution. That's what I say. I just offer these simple solutions. But I realized early on, I would have a table wherever I could, oh, have worms. And I'm animated, I'm high energy. So I was probably fun to watch. When you're at those shows, you're wandering around. Sometimes it's boring, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Data. But I'm fun. So, but then it's like, there's a line. Right? And then I'm like, oh, worms in the house. You could have them under your kitchen table. It's like, people don't buy what they need. They buy what they want. And they didn't want what I had. They might have needed it. Everyone needed what I had.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And how it works, I guess I should explain it. The worms aren't free range. They're not roaming around your house. They're in a, I'm sorry, I'm a laughter teacher too.
No, no, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah.
They're in a container, like a Rubbermaid container or a plastic bin. Plastic is easy. You could have them in wood as well, but it's not as portable. They need a carbon-nitrogen mix. The carbon is shredded paper, leaves, straw, cardboard,
Right.
that kind of material. You add in your food scraps from the kitchen, your vegetable and fruit, coffee and tea. You add the worms in. The worms are converting that material into nutrient-rich soil. All right. So just briefly, there's lots of instruction online how to do it. And then you use that material in your garden or in your house plants. It's aerobic process, meaning with oxygen. It's not going to smell. Room temperature is ideal. If we're comfortable, they are. Basically, that's it. And it's really wonderful. And once we get connected to the worms and the process of the composting, then we're transformed. And it's wonderful for children because they they're not afraid of worms. So they jump right in, not into the bin literally, but they enjoy the process of adding a banana peel. And then they come back, wow, look, the worms are there. And yeah, it's beautiful.
And can you tell us a bit more about what are the main difference that you can do with worms instead of the actual usual fertilizers or any other chemicals that usually are used by farmers or even in private gardens?
Yeah, so we're looking for the quick fix. We're always looking for something, and those chemicals work
Yeah,
because the engineers are so smart. The chemical engineers are so smart, they're able to create this product that works, that makes the plant grow. But what it does not do is build the soil. What we need to do is be patient. And it's a building process. We add layers, which is what composting does, and mulching. We add all the scraps back in, and then the microorganisms do what the chemicals do, but
yeah,
they're also feeding the soil.
amazing, amazing. So, can you tell us a bit about what were your most insights when you were presenting this type of compost, to people, companies? What was their reaction, and then how they really saw the benefits that what they could do?
That's the challenge. 23 years, and I thought by this time, my goal was worms in every living space, worms
Right,
in every house, every apartment, every classroom, not just one in a school,
right, right.
every community, worms everywhere, like the recycling program. That's what I was like, oh, this is going to be so great. Okay, I have a psychology degree, and I realized, oh my gosh, people are afraid of worms, not the concept. They love the idea. This is great idea. No
Right.
way, I'm not having worms, and not even on a conscious level. That's why this is so fascinating. I'm fascinated by people. So I'm like, oh, what's wrong? Oh, if people were traumatized as a child in the schoolyard or a fishing incident by a worm, oh, they're not looking to that as an adult. Like, oh, maybe I'll have worms in my house. Like I'm afraid of them, but no, So there's a huge barrier to overcome. The idea is great. It's getting the education, and it's really the communication. It's all marketing and awareness. We can't just take a pill and solve the world's ills. We need to go back to how nature does it. So this is really a small scale solution. People ask me all the time, can this be scaled up? Everything can. However, we're dealing with living creatures, so there's lots of layers. First of all, the psychological barrier. You asked about companies, if the CEO is on board, well, then it works.
Yeah,
If the CEO had an experience, it's like, no, I even had, there was this is all science in school and education. So a brand new school was built in my town, and I was like, oh my gosh, they should start with worms, and this will be great introduction. And the principal was like, no, I don't want those dirty things in my school. Like literally. And I was like, wow, okay, get Lysol then.
yeah.
Sorry that
And,
I mentioned a
and
name.
I mean, what makes you think that people dislike it more than any other thing usually? But maybe after they understand exactly what is it, they might become more perceptive about it.
Yes. Those are one the insights that I've had is it's not for everyone, because if they had an experience, they need some work first. They've
Right.
got some trauma in them, so they can't see this as a solution. But there's lots of people, and the younger people are ready for this. Really, the younger people are ready. And when I do a workshop and explain, that's why I took on speaking. And I, again, thank you for the opportunity. Because when we share the message and people hear, oh, like on my website, I have a picture of a pound of worms, and it's 2 handfuls of worms. When people see
Right.
that, they might be like, the worms don't have teeth. They can't bite us. They don't cause any disease. They're really an important piece in our survival, because they convert our garbage into gold. and they're reducing the volume, and they're just creating this wonderful product. They have a symbiotic relationship with plants.
Yeah.
So they're closing. It's like a figure eight. It's the infinity sign. We eat the food, we feed the worms, they create the soil, we grow more food on site. Everybody has worms, like everybody has worms or compost. You don't necessarily, if you have space, you could do this outside, right? You could create compost, but then, there may be, if you're in bear country, you don't want to attract bears or raccoons in an urban setting.
Right.
You don't want to have, or rodents even, so there may be limitations to even composting outside. This is just a wonderful solution because we all eat. It's something that we can all do. And on a small scale, like in a bin, I'm doing this because, just like a tote that you can move around. The worms multiply. So you really, if you manage this properly, you never have to get worms again. And the impact that I've had is that I took on school workshops back in 2002. Over 100,000 students have seen my presentation.
Amazing. Amazing.
Wow. And I've had the privilege of meeting students that I went to their grade 3 class, and they see me at an event. I'm usually wearing my shirt, Cathy's Composters, Worm Away Your Garbage. My website's on it. That's my branding, right? I'm walking around a walking billboard. Why not? So people recognize me. I always know what I'm going to wear when I go and speak because I'm right. Anyway, so that was a lesson that I learned early on. So if you're an entrepreneur, get shirts.
No, of course. Of course.
Right. And they've come up to me and they said, Cathy, because you were in my grade 3 class and we had worms, I went to university and I took environmental studies. Now I'm an environmental lawyer. Wow. We're always making an impact, good or bad, we don't know. When we say hi to somebody, when we cut somebody off in traffic, we're always making an impact, but we don't always know. And I've had the privilege of knowing that I have. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Amazing. What was the most insightful thing that you remember that have done and most positive impacted someone or even yourself within friends or other companies or people that marked you forever and make you thought that this is what I'm going to be doing all my life? That's what was your remembers regarding any event like this?
Oh, a whole Rolodex of memories as you were saying that. The one I'm going to share is I was at a eco event it was probably 2003. I was exhibiting at an eco event. I had no idea about how to set up my booth or anything, but I had enthusiasm, right? I had passion. And this grandfather came up with his 2 grandchildren, maybe 5 and 7 years old, perfect age, right? 2 young boys. And we were the first booth after the entrance. So you enter and then there we are. And kids love worms. So I was telling them, here's how it works. And the one young boy didn't care. So that's great. It's not for everybody. The younger one he was enthralled. He was asking great questions. He held the worms. And then they got on to the fair. At the end of the fair, they came back and the grandfather said, I have to tell you, when we left your booth, Joshua said, Grandpa, I know what I'm going to do when I grow up. I'm going to be a worm farmer.
Amazing. Amazing.
I've had many of those moments, but that was the one that popped up first when you asked the question. And so imagine, right, the impact, like who knows?
Yeah.
But that was planting one of those seeds. And that's what it is, right? You meet people along your path and maybe you don't notice at the time it gets in your DNA.
No, and especially when it's like a young person, like in this case, it's a person that will always remember this all his life in the future, right? So it's very, very impactful. It's amazing story.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. So, what else can you tell us about the compost? I mean, what advices would you give to people to use it, how to use it, and what are the most beneficial ways when you use it?
Again, it's you're not creating a large volume if you're doing it at home.
Right. Right.
It's an amendment. You wouldn't grow your vegetables in pure compost,
Right.
right? It's too nutrient rich. So you use it sparingly, which is how beautiful. And that's why it's so expensive to buy, because the worms don't create a lot. So if you're just starting your seedlings, you do your mix and then add the compost, you sprinkle it in, just kind of mix it in so it doesn't dry out. If you're planting seedlings, you dig your hole, line the hole with the castings, put your plant in, then the nutrients are right there with the roots, so they're readily available. And
Right.
then add the rest of your soil. As you water, the nutrients are available and they get taken up by the plant. How wonderful. You could do a mix. I believe it's maybe 10%. It's very small percent of your ratio of mix. If you're adding compost and manure and, soil, whatever you've got, you're mixing it all together and doing a blend.
Right.
I don't recommend that because it is so beautiful. If you can do spot using with the castings, it's better. Or make compost tea. It's water soluble, so you mix some of it into your watering jug. It dissolves, and then you just water your plants, and then the nutrients again are readily available.
Amazing. Amazing. So thank you for this insight. I definitely learned a little bit more than I didn't know. So thank you for this, and I'm pretty sure many people that hear this will find this very useful. So beside of all this, you have also another part of you, right? You are into humor. You have a club. So can you tell us a bit about that?
Yes, let me tell you how the laughter came about. So 23 years in 2012, one more person said, "Ooh, worms in the house." And although I'd heard it hundreds of times, I heard it that day and I questioned everything. I was about to doff my important mission. Like, I don't know what to do. Oh gosh, people still are afraid of worms. And I would thought, without awareness, action is impossible. If you don't know about it, you're not doing it. So 10 years had gone by and they weren't doing it.
Right.
And
Right.
I don't care if people do it or not. It's not the not knowing. They can decide not to do it.
Yeah.
I don't want people to say, "Oh, I've lived in an apartment for 20 years. I didn't know." That's why I want so again, thank you for the opportunity to let more people know that it's
Right.
an option. Okay. So I felt it and I was like, I don't know what to do. And the very next day I was introduced to laughter yoga. And here's a beautiful piece of this at the very place I wrote my business plan. Wow. Pay attention to the sign, folks, to the signs in your life. I went back, they would have speakers come in and the speaker did a 5-minute introduction to laughter yoga. And I don't even do yoga. Yoga's a fine thing. I know it's not for me. I walk and do other things. But I was like, wow, laughter yoga. What's that? I love to laugh. So laughter yoga is not doing yoga and laughing. It's laughing as a cardiovascular workout.
Right. Right.
And it's changed my life. It allowed me to stay in my worm business. I think on a certain level before laughter yoga, when somebody said, "Ooh, worms in the house," or "Ooh, worms," I took it personal on a level. Like, it sounds ridiculous. Like, oh, that sounds crazy. Yeah, it does. But when it's your baby, when
Yeah.
your business is your baby, you're so passionate about it. You do take it personal. It's like, oh, no, how could you not like what I'm doing? Like, look at how cute they are.
Right. Right.
Because we don't know. We don't know that people don't know what we know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so laughter has helped me.
It's in over 99% of the times, it's important to share the information because people, well, obviously they don't guess, and most people will not know, what you do exactly. And of course, if someone just presented like a poster or something and said, "Here's some worms," people say, "What is this?" They have no information. They don't know what is it, what is it for. So this is how important it is to share the info. Then can people, decide for themselves once they really have all the information and know. Then of course they can decide if they really want it or not. But
Mm-hmm.
first, I always say you should know exactly all the information before you make a decision.
Yes. Yeah, you must. How can you otherwise?
Exactly.
And that's why marketing and branding is really important. If we look at the popular big companies, they all advertise on TV, radio, like we see, because they have a big
Yeah.
advertising budget. And I'm not suggesting going on TV, because I actually tell people to be skeptical of the ads that you see on TV. Like, if you're going to buy from them, know what you're buying,
Of course. Of
because they're
course.
very good.
Yeah. The visual presence, it became lately one of the most important when you're presenting a product for people to see it, because you're showing something on remote, it needs to be shipped sometimes. So putting online or over a commercial visual, of course, it attracts much more the effect, positively for people to understand what is it and what is it for. Oh, yeah. And you have several sessions, right, on this comedy club. Could you tell us a bit about more, for people to go and watch you or watch it online?
Yeah, so just to clarify it, it's not comedy and humor. It's not
Okay.
jokes. Yeah,
Okay.
I just to clarify, laughter yoga is not jokes or comedy,
Right.
because jokes. So laughter yoga was, and I will talk about my club, was started in 1995 by a medical doctor in India,
Okay.
Dr. Madan Kataria, and his goal is world peace. So
Okay.
it's really a magnificent, like, bandwagon to jump on. Why not? Laughter's the best medicine. When we're laughing, we're in charge of our own pharma,
Yeah.
dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins,
Yeah.
versus when we're
Oh,
stressed, cortisol.
yeah. Also, because it also activates all the muscles you have in your body. Actually, when you laugh, you activate every single muscle, which you cannot do doing something else.
Right?
Usually, when you do a movement or you do something, it's reactive to sudden specific movement. But when you laugh, you activate everything. So that's why when you laugh, you feel actually from those 15, 20 seconds, you actually feel more relaxed when you laugh because you exhaling a lot of emotions out. Yeah.
And exhaling, you said it. So when you're exhaling, ha 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 ha,
Yeah.
you have to. So you have to take a beautiful deep inhale, which they
Yeah.
say, right?
Yeah.
Breathe deep and breathe into your belly. That's what you're doing when you're laughing. So it's like this built-in response. It's something that we were given at birth, and we've forgotten as a society. We squished it out because now we're living in this perpetual state of stress.
Right.
Stress is our habit now, and the negative, like if we look at the news or social media, we're looking at all these things that are,
Yeah.
fear, fear, fear. Even the shows, even the programs are a lot of negative. And my goal is real, and so we dip into joy every now and then, but it's very unfamiliar, it's foreign. And I want joy to be our habit. What if we're in a habit of joy and we're swirling around in joy? It's just an energy, that's it. And then
Yeah.
we dip into stress when we need to. We turn it upside down, and it's possible. So I do have a free laughter club on Tuesday morning. It's on Zoom. I started June 2020, 5 years
Right.
of Tuesday Laughter Club. Wow. I have
Amazing.
gigglers from around the world. Uh, I'm getting, I can, between 25 and 30 every week. Not always the same people. Some people come once and maybe it's not for them. That's okay.
Mhm.
Or they just wanted to try it. That's fine. It's so beautiful. 30 minutes. I incorporate tapping, brain gym, qigong, just to help people get out of stress and into joy. It's really my gift to the world. I just really want people to feel good. I really want people to care about the planet. I really, really do. But since 2020, we've been in this global mental health tsunami.
Yeah, we have,
You
and,
know,
and COVID didn't actually help because it created more distance between people, creating virtual environment between people for communication. And that actually made a lot of distance. Instead of putting people together, we are putting ourselves
we're
apart,
separated.
and that mentally most people didn't realize, but it created really heavy damage for some people more than others because it all depends on your character. But for some people, it's just very damaging. They just didn't realize it because they lost that connection. Before we could, before COVID, there was, I always say that it was before and after, right? The before was maybe people get gathering for a coffee or go out or, get around or go for a walk. The after, people talk via video conference, WhatsApp, messaging, etc. What was the main difference? Well, most of your brain functions are disordered because most of them only work if you are actually doing something physical. If you are seated or if you're just talking, you're not using those.
Mm,
And many of your emotions are off because you cannot have a real emotion as you could have when you have the person in front of you. It's different perception.
mm,
So all those emotions are off. So people got a lot of emotions off, a lot of functions that they're not using, and they got used to create the environment of distance, living in virtuality. And all this is actually very harmful for the brain. And most people don't realize because they take this already as a routine.
mm.
We've been, everyone is doing it like this for forever because everyone's doing in remote right now. But it's not helpful and it's not good for your health in some point. You should have real meetings. You should be with real people and even if it is for lunch or a cocktail or a coffee, even for coffee or walk, but do things with people physically. It actually recreate all those emotions and starting to have a natural outcome path on your life, because there's several things that is created through the toxic path, let's just say. One of them, of course, if you starting to be totally remote and aparted from civilization, which is going on that way, current
Yeah.
moments in society because everyone doing everything virtually, so you feel departed from real environment. And then there's still people that go to the office, they are with people, and they still continue to do some of the routines with friends and family on remote. Don't do that. Do exactly as you do it with the office. If you need to be a family member, if it is nearby, just go and see them. Don't do video call. That's my advice. If it's
Yes.
nearby, it's always better to have a real conversation and real talk. Even for perception, to make you feel better because you have different emotions, different perceptions. Things are more natural when you're talking, in presence with the other person. And for some people, yeah, it can be very effective because for some people they really don't like to speak in front of a camera because they're
Mm,
shy, or and that creates even more impact in certain cases. So
yeah.
it's just a matter: is this really what you really want? Well, you don't need to continue to do it like this. You can go out,
Yeah.
just if you want to have, your uncle or your cousin or friend, you call them up and say, hey, let's go out for lunch, or let's go out for a coffee or for a walk or whatever, to have normal communication in society because that brings people closer. That's my advice, at least for most people, to do it like that because in the end that is very helpful, and you will start then to have all normal emotions and to open up with people and have better communication instead of being restrained. And this is I mean, I just went it all through this recording my perception as I used that I used to talk to every week. I just have to quit because of so many things I was involved. I didn't have the time. So, in your case, what was the most impactful thing that you saw from people that go into your groups? And what are the most common cases of their stress?
Hmm. Yeah. So at the end of a laughter club, I would ask people because your body has just had a party, and I just wanted to comment on what you just said. That was brilliantly said about the separation, the isolation, and sitting. I recently heard that isolation is more damaging to our health than smoking,
It is.
obesity.
Yeah.
Um, so we're sitting and we're alone and we just have that voice in our head who's never our friend. So yeah, get out and be with people. That's beautiful. And I do believe we're craving that too. So when you come to a laughter club, your body has a party, you're fully oxygenated, you're connecting, eye contact, moving around, so movement, connection. And at the end, I'll say to people that so at the end of a laughter club, there's a laughter meditation, and it's not focused on your thoughts or any of that. Your breath. I mean, hopefully your thoughts aren't coming, but they always come because we're laughing. It's laughter. So you laugh for
Right.
first thing you just laugh for again. Everybody's laying on their back. If you're able, if not, and your heads are faced in, and you've just been all connected, and nobody can see you, so you're laughing, ha 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 ha. It starts just gradient laughter, ha ha ha, maybe artificial. It isn't by then, and then it builds up, ha 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 ha, and everybody's laughing full on, ha 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 ha. You don't know how long it's going, and then eventually, oh, it's like hoo ha ha shoo, but you can't see anybody. And maybe somebody think once got their breath again, they think it's funny, so they giggle over there, ha ha ha, he he.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
stage is right, it builds up again. A few minutes, we don't know how long. It's organic, and then it stops. As the leader, you ask people to not talk during this time. You want them in their body, not in their head, because it's a beautiful, magical experience. So you're laughing, haha. And then just like at the end of a yoga session, I play a
Right.
nice song so they can integrate the energy. And then we come back and I say to people, notice how you feel for the rest of the day or evening. Your body just had a party, and notice how you sleep tonight. I hope you sleep well. I hope you sleep well every night. It's really important. And
Yeah.
that's what people have reported, that they sleep better, they connect. I do have 5 years. I do have people who have been coming for 5 years. They come when they can, not that they necessarily come every Tuesday, but people come when they can. And it's like this little community, even though there's no talking on their part, because they've just come to play, like a yoga class or a whatever, a French class, I guess you would be talking.
Right.
But a dance class or whatever kind of
Yeah.
class,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I'm the instructor, they follow along, and it's
Yeah.
it's it's just a beautiful experience that brings us to the present. It's not jokes or comedy, so we don't need to comprehend. We just get out of our head into our body, and our body is secreting all the love drugs. We feel good. When we feel good, we do good. And when we do good, everybody benefits. It's literally, for the science people, it's literally an electronic chemical process. It's scientifically proven that when we're laughing, we're high energy, at least for that
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
It doesn't take away, it's like the windshield wipers. The windshield wipers don't stop the rain, but they help us get on with our drive.
Get visibility. Yeah. Yeah. Of
Right?
course.
Laughter doesn't take away our problems, but it just helps us open up. And
Well,
what
it
ha
does. I mean,
yeah,
I think it does because all you need when you are floating with problems or occurrences or whatever situation you are, it does create you a break of disconnection for you to stop thinking that you have all those problems. So I think it does help you to at least to have a concentration on how to solve them, not being so stressful as you was before you actually left. But I would say it's actually helpful to find solutions also.
yeah. And the thing with laughter, it is a cardiovascular workout.
Yeah.
And it's a practice, folks. You don't go to one laughter club and check that off your list. Okay, I meditated once. I'm done for life. I had a good night's sleep once. Okay, good. No, right? I ate a healthy meal once. This is a practice. And what I've realized, I've been laughing since 2012,
Yeah.
but in 2012, it was a little hobby. I went once a month with my mother-in-law. We'd go out for dinner. She'd say, we better not have garlic. Ha ha ha. And I'd say, as long as we have it.
But onions.
And then we'd laugh.
Oh my God.
It was fun. That was a nice,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was a nice connector for us too. We loved it. And then, I got trained. The club closed because there wasn't enough people. The challenge with a laughter club is that people think they laugh enough. I don't need to go to a laughter club. I laugh all the time. And
Mhm.
I would question if people really do. Like, think about how often you're laughing and you can't remember the moment because you were laughing so hard you can't even remember. You can't remember events. You just remember, oh, remember, what were we laughing at? We were laughing so, oh my gosh, we can't remember even what the thing was. We just remember the feeling. And
Yeah.
that's what laughter does for us. So what I've realized since 2020, I took a deep dive into the expression, like laughter is the best medicine. Is it? What does that mean? And it really is. And so I laugh with intention every day. I have a laughter buddy. Here's what people can do. Okay, so my laughter buddy, she calls me at 7:30 in the morning. I'm an early riser. If people are sleeping, that's fine. I don't say hello. I start laughing. We laugh for 2 full minutes, and then we
Yeah.
deep breathe for 1 minute, and then we laugh for 2 more minutes. It's a 5-minute practice, 5 minutes every day, since December 2021. So 3.5 years. I have
Right.
rock hard abs from laughing. Right when we're laughing, our diaphragm is connected to all of our organs. So it's like a cardiovascular workout. We're secreting all the love drugs. And it is that laughter muscle. It really is building up the practice of laughter. So now when I get stressed, I notice, oh, wait a minute, I'm breathing shallow. Oh, my body's tight. Okay, let me go laugh. Ha 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 ha
Yeah,
ha.
yeah, yeah.
It's not jokes or comedy, right? It's just laughing. And it's a challenge to laugh by myself, even as a trained professional. That's where the laughter club comes in, or the laughter buddy, because every day I laugh, and I get my laughter in every day. That's what I want to say.
So, within all this, how does the people in your group usually come by saying what is the most common stress issue that they have, and how did they come up, in the end and felt better? What was the situation?
Yeah, that they come to the club initially, and maybe they were introduced, they heard me on a podcast or saw me speak or something, and they want
Right.
to try it out. And they come, it's like, a lot of people come to laughter from a depression.
Okay.
They're anxious, they're depressed. We already talked about, since 2020, there's a lot of people suffering.
Yeah.
So they might have heard about it, right? I promote on social media and stuff. They come to the club, they're skeptical. Like, really, this can make me feel better? Come and try it, right? We're creating new neural pathways.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then they come back again, and then when they come regularly, they say, they put little comments in, wow, I feel great, thank you, I slept good, things are opening up, I feel better. I just, like, it's because when we're feeling low energy, that's where we're living. We're low energy, we're tired, we don't have the energy. I want to let you know, folks, if you don't have energy, you need to get up and move around. It's because your body is sluggish. Like, literally, we talk about these, like, we're low energy. It's an electrical, we talk in electrical terms.
Right.
High energy, high
Right.
voltage. Well, that person's amped up. Maybe it's caffeine, but right? We talk in electric. What when we're in the flow, right? Things are flowing along, and that's a
Right.
current. It's currency. It's electric. It's a vibration. So when we are low energy, I would say stand up and do some jumping jacks, or if you're unable, if you're bedridden, or you're in a wheelchair, even, you can do laughter. That's the beautiful thing. It's
Right.
accessible for everybody. You can
Right.
do a few yippies, like throwing your hands in the air, yippee, yippee, yippee. Just putting on a smile, you send a note to your brain, hey, I'm back to the chemical process. As soon as we smile, we send those chemicals to the brain. Oh, what's going on? I'm smiling. I must be happy. Yoop. And start secreting the love drugs. And then we add a giggle. Ha ha ha. Even
Yeah.
if our brain, or not our brain knows, our body doesn't know the difference between real and imagined laughter. What? How beautiful. It doesn't need to be jokes. If your body's saying, how can I laugh for nothing? That's your ego saying, what is happening over there? Stop. Our brain's role is to keep us safe and conserve energy. How does it do that? It knows
Right.
what to do in the right when you go into those family situations and your sibling says that thing that gets you mad and then you're back in the fight again. The brain knows what to do. What if you could snap out of it? You can. I'm here to let you know you can, just by deciding, okay, enough of that routine. I'm going to try something else. What if?
Right.
What if it could help? Come to my laughter club. Go to any laughter club. They're around the world. There are clubs in over 120 countries. And since COVID, right before 2020, even Dr. Kateria believed that it needed to be done in person we all
Yeah.
believed, right? And online is divine, in person is better, for sure. But it works. It works beautifully when you have gallery view, everyone looking at each other, everyone having their camera, we're playing together. I'm doing this because there's clapping and it's just being silly. And when you have your hands over your head, we go sometimes very good, yay. Just to let people know, okay, we're done that activity. We're going to move on to another activity. Imagine if you're in person and everybody, say 20 or 30 people, all clapping and laughing and having fun. Instead of trying to yell, okay, folks, we're moving on, you just start going, ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Everybody joins in. Oop, okay,
Right.
time to move on. And that's fun, even in itself. It's
Yeah.
that chanting meditation thing, right?
Amazing.
Or we say, very good, yay. And just for your information, when you have your hands over your head, you can't feel sad, right? Like, oh, I'm so sad. No, what are your hands doing?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
um, there's all these little wonderful tricks that are built in. We're just not taught them. So
Yeah.
there's lots of things that we can do for our own beautiful self-care. And it's not selfish, it's self-love. It's self-importance.
So, how do people get into your laugh club?
The website is cathysclub.com, Cathy with a
Okay.
C. The information's right at the top. I believe it says free laughter club. You just register, and that's just to I have your email then. It really is to prevent people. Some people have just the Zoom link right out in the open. I
Right.
don't have a waiting room, so that's just a little security measure. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you just come in and play. Have an open mind, because if it's your first time, it might be weird. Everything's weird the first time, like starting a new job or moving to a new neighborhood.
Mhm.
Everything's weird the first time you take a new subject. It's weird because you don't know it. It's unknown. And then you come the second time, you're like, oh, okay, oh, I know what to do here. And you remember. And then you just play. And if people come and allow themselves permission, because it's that group thing. When we come together as a group, it's more powerful,
Right.
because I see you, you see me, and we're playing, we're raising the vibration and it's energy. So once we raise the energy for us, yep, we raise it for our family, for our neighborhood, for our town, for our country, for the world. It's energy all around. So when you feel good, you're affecting everything.
Amazing. Amazing. So, how do you see yourself within the next 5, 10 years? Will continue to do what you're doing? You're going to change something?
I see me as the intermission speaker at large conferences where
Okay.
people have been all cerebral, they're learning all the stuff. And then I'm the lunch breakout, maybe keynote speaker or whatever, but I'm there. I do a quick la la la, get everybody into their body. So
Yeah.
then they're ready for the afternoon sessions. That's where I see myself. I see myself on big stages,
Okay.
raising the
Well,
vibration, just sharing this wonderful, simple way to have a joyful life.
amazing. Kathy, thank you so much for all you're doing. That's very insightful and powerful for people. And all your effort that you do on the background that most people don't realize. So I'm really appreciated for you taking the time and sharing all this info to all the public in general, and for them to have more knowledge about it. So thank you for that. So before we finish, I always ask my guests to say a power message. What would be your power message today?
My power message is it's no for sure unless you ask.
Wonderful.
And
So,
it is powerful. If you stop and think,
yeah,
if you get in your head and you're like, oh, why would they? You've already got to know. If you're not going to have the courage to ask, it's no already. And Julio, I just wanted to say thank you, thank you, thank
it
you.
was my genuine pleasure.
I'm
My
so
genuine pleasure.
grateful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I really like to share interesting stories. Yours is definitely one of them. And I have to say that I'm very proud of all your work, the way you've done it, and how you empowering people. Please continue to do so, and wishing you all the best in the future and with our endeavors and all you're doing, helping people. Thank you.
Giggle with you soon.
Thank you. Talk to you soon. So that
Okay.
was all for today, folks. Catch you on the next episode. Thank you all. Catch you soon. Bye bye.